Welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. Glad you could join me here today on this cloudy, overcast afternoon in St. Louis, Missouri today. Hope it's great wherever you are in the world. And today's topic is going to be women's fertility. And why is that important? Because if you want to have kids, and if you want to have a lot of kids like I did, you got to get a woman who is not 30 years old. She has to be younger. The best time for a woman to be pregnant or to get pregnant, her highest fertility time. Well, let's continue. I'll read this study, the Edinburgh study on women's fertility. But before we begin, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can be aware of videos coming out. We have a video coming out every day, and tonight we have the podcast at 7 p.m. at The Power Is Within podcast, okay? I don't edit my videos. This is it. This is as live as live. So my videos don't jump around. I don't like that. I understand why people do it, but I don't do that. So if I screw up, you get to see it, all right? We're all human. So let's go. All right, for women who want kids, the sooner the better. 90% of eggs are gone by the age of 30. Now, I'm not saying that. And one of the reasons I want to speak about this is because in the mainstream media, they tell these women to go out and have a career and get what you want. And you got plenty of time to have kids. Well, guess what? They don't really have plenty of time to have kids. The older they get, the more difficult it becomes. I've heard several women talking lately about, well, I want to have 2 or 3 kids. And when asked when they want to have it, well, I want to do my career first and then have one about 32 or 33. Well, guess what? 90% of their eggs are gone by then. Unlike a man who can reproduce up into his 60s or 70s, for example. What is his name, the actor? Gosh, dang it. He played him pretty well. Gere, Richard Gere. He just had a kid a couple years ago in his late 60s, and I think he's 71 now, and he just had another child. So men can do that, women can't. If you don't like it, go talk to the big guy. I didn't make things this way, okay? So, here we go. Dr. Marie Savage says that for women who want kids, the sooner the better. Okay, January 29, 2010. This is an old study. This has been around a long time, but they don't talk about this in mainstream media. It doesn't make for good consumers. It doesn't make good consumers of women. They want them out there buying, working, and spending money. And if they're home having babies, guess what? They're not going to be spending as much money. It's a big lie. You can't wait forever if you're a woman, if you want to have kids. And almost all women I know want to have kids. Some men don't want to, and granted, there are some women who don't. But in general, when they start to get to be a certain age, around 22, 3, 4, they want to have kids. But some later, because they think they can go out and run through their party years and have a good time. Well, I'm just having fun now and I'm going to settle down later. Well, guess what? If you want a high-value man and somebody who can take care of you and support you and give you the life you desire, he's not going to be looking for a woman that's 27, 28, 29, or 30 because he's wanting to have a couple kids and he knows she's been through the ringer, so to speak. Now, I know the mainstream media tells women they can go out and sleep around just like men and still maintain their value. Well, as a human being, yes, you maintain your value. But on the sexual marketplace, which there is a sexual marketplace, their value lowers. Now, they try to hide it, and all women know this inherently because they all want to come off as being a good girl, no matter how many guys they've slept with. But a man can tell. I can tell if a woman's been with a lot of guys, or a few guys, or no guys. I've been with a couple of virgins, 2 or 3. I've been with girls that have been with 1 or 2 guys, and I've been with girls that have been with a lot of men. They all act different. They all do certain things that give it away. So it's not hard to tell. I think I have a dog in here. Okay, excuse me. Somewhere, I don't know where it's at. Must be outside. Anyway, I have a Chihuahua that is in heat, and I have another one that is chasing it. It kind of goes along with the topic, right? So now's the time for the Chihuahua to get pregnant. And it's the same thing with the women. They have a certain window, actually between the ages of 15 and about 22 or 3, I think they say. Well, let's see what they say here. By the time a woman hits 30, nearly all of her ovarian eggs are gone for good, according to a new study that says women who put off childbearing for too long could have difficulty ever conceiving. Could have difficulty ever conceiving. Remember that if you're a woman, and remember that if you're a man marrying an older woman and you want children. You want to leave a legacy. I have nothing against older women. I'm just telling you how the life or how the world works, okay? How anatomy, is that the word? How the body works in a woman and how it is in a man. Okay. The study published by the University of St. Andrews and Edinburgh University in Scotland found that women have lost 90% of their eggs by the time they are 30 years old and only have about 3% remaining by the time they are 40. It's common knowledge that women, and I guess they know that because that's why they freeze their eggs, trying to avoid the laws of nature, the laws of the universe. Okay, it's common knowledge that women have more difficulty conceiving as they age, but this is the very first study believed to quantify the number of eggs lost, and it shows that the decline is more rapid than previously believed. Now, the old timers knew this because back before I was born, when a girl was about in her 20 or 25, the old women were telling her, you need to get married or you're going to be an old maid. And after 25, they were calling her an old maid. Nothing's changed. Women's bodies function the same way now as they did 100 years ago, 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago. A woman becomes able to conceive at around, 13, 14 years old. That's why in some countries, the age of consent is 14, because they realize that they have to start having children if they're going to have it. And the difference is in other countries, they still want big families because they all have to. If you've never been to a third world country, you don't understand this. You may think, well, it's because they're more primitive. No, the family takes care of the family. That's why you have mothers, fathers, cousins, aunts, uncles, kids, wives, husbands, all living in the same home because they don't have the affluence and the abundance there that we have. They need the family to stay together and work as a unit. So they know that the girl needs to be having kids sooner than we do up here. Here we've come to rely on social systems and Uncle Sam and the government to take care of us. They don't have that in these other countries. And that is why they have different ideas than we have here. Over time, the quality of ovarian eggs also deteriorates, increasing the difficulty of conception and the risk of having an unhealthy baby. So for you men, remember that. If you're going to get with an older woman, think, well, she's settled down now, and she's been through her party years, and she's got all that out of her system. It doesn't matter. Her body still has changed considerably. And the chances of you having kids with her, healthy kids, slims down to none. Now, the last woman I was married to was from another country, and I married her when she was 15, and I was older, okay, because I wanted to have 15 kids. I did it for practical reasons. I married her legally, and then we were married in a church. We didn't have any sex until we were married in the church, okay? Now, when I got back here to the States, I had some professional people, usually women, psychologists saying, well, that was immoral. I'm like, why is that immoral? Why is that immoral? If you want to talk about morality, it's more immoral for a woman to go out and sleep around with all these guys and not be married. If you want to look at morals, or I don't know what she meant that in a religious context or what, but that was her reply. And other women will shame you. And that, what are you doing going out with that? Robbing the cradle, or you shouldn't be going out with them young girls. Go out with somebody your own age. Well, if you want to have kids, and if you want a girl who hasn't been with a lot of men, especially nowadays, you have to go out with a younger girl. I'm not telling you to go out with anybody 15 years old. My age limit is 18 now, even if it's legal in other countries, because I'm from this country and 18 is the age of consent. Well, in my state it's 17, but I don't go out with anybody here in the States. But when I do travel around the world, if I go out with another girl, she has to be at least 18. I just go by that because I know sometimes our laws stretch to other lands, and honestly, I don't want to go out with a girl any younger than that. Okay, if I was going to have 15 kids again, I may decide that, but I'm not going to have 15 kids. I have 8 now. I may have 1 or 2 more, and I will be looking for a girl in her early 20s probably to do that with. Maybe a little younger, maybe not, but it's my choice. I really don't care what people think, nor should you. You do what feels right for you. If that doesn't feel right for you, then don't do it. But if you're abiding by the laws, which I do, then you do what you want to do and don't worry about what people are going to think about you or what they're going to say about you. You will never have the life you desire or the success you desire if you worry about what everybody thinks about what you do. As long as you follow the laws of the land and the laws of your conscience, okay, you'll be all right. So let's continue. The study was based on information collected from 325 women of varying ages in the United Kingdom, the United States, and Europe. Dr. Marie Savard, Good Morning America medical contributor, visited GMA to discuss the issue and its implications for moms-to-be. Women lose their eggs a lot faster than we thought, she said. As you get older, conceiving is much more difficult. Even all those assisted reproductive techniques are challenges. That biological clock does tick, she said, adding that her advice to women who want kids is the sooner the better, not the later, not when you're 30, not if you have your career, not if you have your party years, etc., etc., etc. Here's another thing. The more partners you have, the more chances you have of having STDs. Okay? And there's some bad ones out there too. So that's something else you need to think about. Condoms do not always protect you from those things. I've been fortunate. I very rarely ever use condoms. But nowadays things are different. My high numbers of women was long ago. I don't sleep with a lot of different women, and I prefer to get one woman and stay with her for a period of time. I don't sleep around like I did when I was in my 20s. So I avoid those things, and I'm very careful. But you never know who your girl's sleeping with. Therein lies the problem. All right, let's continue. Well, that's about it. They have some questions and answers, but I'm going to stop with that there because I got to go do the podcast here in about 20 minutes. I want to thank you for joining me and welcome to my new subscribers. I hope this has been of value to you if you're a woman or if you're a man, to know that if you want to have kids and family, you need to start early, okay? My daughter's 14. I would like to see her married by the time she's 22 and start having kids by the time she's 23. Earlier, if she can. Now you may say, well, she's not mature enough. I've been with women who are in their 30s that were not as mature as women who were 20 years old. So the maturity level doesn't necessarily come from, their age. It does come from how they're raised. Did they come from a family where there was a father there and a mother and somewhat of a stable family? There are no healthy families, no perfectly healthy families. There's always problems in every family, okay? Shortcomings, defects of characters in the parents, which passes on to the child. But, has the girl that you want to wife up been promiscuous? Has she slept around a lot? She may say, well, I got that all out of my system. But has she? See, the problem is once they have a lot of guys, it's easier for them just to go sleep with another guy. As where a virgin or a girl who's only had one or two guys doesn't want to go around and sleep around with other guys. It's not comfortable for her. She doesn't feel right about it. Her moral compass tells her that that's not really what she is supposed to do or she wants to do. And I'm not condemning anyone. If that's what you want to do, if you're a woman, go for it. I'm just talking about the consequences and the probability of a high-value man, someone who has been with women and can give you the life that you desire, the good life, you and your kids. He's going to know if you've had a lot of partners, and more than likely, he's going to bypass you. He may go out with you and have a good time for the weekend, sleep with you, but he knows that you're not going to make good long-term relationship material, okay? There are exceptions, I'm sure, but in general, that's just the way it is. Okay, that's all we have time for today. Thank you so very much for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow.